Hey everybody, welcome back to another review here at Go Polished. I have a fun collection for you guys today. I've been looking at this collection for months and I finally got my hands on it. It took a while for it to get to Beyond Polished, but it's there and available now. They sent this collection to me. I don't know if this is exactly a collection. I think it's just additions to their new Nature Strong line. I did a whole review of the Nature Strong line a year, or was it 2 ago? I think maybe it's just a year ago. Anyway, it's been a while, but it's a really great line. I need to pull those polishes out a little bit more. They have some really great colors. I'll put the link down to that video below if you guys want to check that out, just so you can get more information about that line. Before we jump right in, I'm going to talk about what's on my lips and what's on my nails. On my lips, I have this Dior Addict lip glow. I love these. I have a few of them. This is in the shade Berry. It's a nice rich color, but it's such a light application. It's almost like a balm, and it's a little glossy, so it doesn't go on super opaque, which I love. Just gives you like a little hint of color. Love these so much. Love how they feel on my lips. And I've kind of gotten back into a few Dior things. I let myself buy a few, but I'm not going to go crazy on Dior because it is more expensive, but I love these. On my nails, I'm wearing Fuel Your Desire by Essie, and it's amazing. It has a great formula, and it's a pretty purple color that leans a little bit pink. There's 6 creams and 3 glitters with this, and I think it's a great overall collection. I like the colors a lot, and there's a few standouts for sure. So this collection is available at Beyond Polish now. You can use my code GOLARI10 for a discount on that. And I'd love to hear your feedback on the Nature Strong line. Do you find yourself wearing them often? Are there any that you have? I'd just be curious to know because they don't get talked about a whole lot, at least from what I'm viewing on Instagram. So let's talk about the polishes. This first one is kind of a twig dill, and I love that name. I think it's so fun. It's a beautiful nude. This is a nude. It does have a little purple, it does have a little pink, it does have a little brown, and it has like a hint of mauve. That's a lot of colors in there, but that is like all that I see in here, and I love it so much. And it's a little bit muted, and I think it's perfect for your neutral loving people. It's got a fantastic formula. In fact, I wrote on my sheet dreamy formula. It's opaque in 2 coats. And yeah, I just really enjoy colors like this. Each new one that comes along I like. There's different variations of these type of colors. There probably is something out there that's completely exact to this. I had a lot of nude polishes similar to this, but a lot of them were more warm or more brown leaning, and so this one's a little bit kind of a grayed out pink mauve, and so it is slightly different. But let's look at those comparisons. You've got that glass glow is a little darker and more purple, but it is kind of close. Quest for Quartz has the same tone, but of course it has that shimmer in it, but it's that same kind of vibe. And then OPI Somewhere Over the Rainbow Mountains is very close. This one's maybe a little bit more warm as well. And then I pulled out Go Go Geisha, which I thought would be almost exactly the same, and that one's lighter but very similar color tone. Essie Gel Couture Taupe of the line is more brown mauve, but that one's close as well. I did pull out Orly Rose All Day, put another one in there last minute. I put Essie Wild Nude in there just because that one was a little bit closer than Rose All Day. So if you thought of Rose All Day, that one is kind of close, but not as close as these other ones. So Essie Wild Nude is a little bit more brown though. So you can see that there. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be something similar to this, but I really love this on my skin tone. I don't know what it was about it, but it just really stood out, and I'm hoping I remember to pull this one out. With all the really great neutrals that I have, sometimes I kind of go for those old classics, but I'm really hoping I remember to pull this one out because it is beautiful. I think if you really love neutrals, you're really going to like this one. Big Beautiful Planet is the next one, and it is a beautiful blue for sure. I love these blue tones. This is kind of in between warm and cool, but it's also a little bit muted. It's a really nice sky blue medium toned color. A lot of description in there, but this is really pretty, especially for spring. I like that it is a little bit more muted, yet it's still a little bit bright, but it's not so in your face blue, which I think is really fun, especially right now, slowly warming up because it just keeps snowing here. When the sun's out, I'll probably put this on because this makes me feel a little gloomy actually when it's raining outside. But anyway, the formula on this one's really great. It's got a little bit of a glossy formula, which I really like. A lot of these are a little bit curly-ish, which is one of my favorite formulas. And so I think this one's really fun. Let's look at the comparisons because I'm sure you're curious to see how it compares to other blues that I might have. I compared it to Malibu Shore. That one's lighter and it slightly leans purple. And then OPI Can't Find My Checkbook is a close, but it's a touch warmer, and I think I like Big Beautiful Planet a little bit more just because it is a little bit cooler toned. And then OPI Grabs Unicorn by the Horn. I really thought it would be close to that, but when I pulled it out, it's definitely darker and much more rich. It's interesting sometimes when I pull these out what I think they're going to look like compared to it when I actually compare them, what they actually look like. Okay, the next set of comparisons, I compared it to Olive and June Mega Bay Blue, and that one's lighter, but it is a very similar shade. China Glaze Sure Feels Good is warmer but close. That is probably the closest, and that's the one I actually first thought of when I pulled this shade out. And then Essie Take the Lead is kind of a similar color, but that one's definitely more brighter and not as muted. That one's really fun for summer. That's such a great polish. If you don't have that one, I would go get it. It does dry down kind of a matte or semi-matte, but I really love this one with a nice glossy top coat. So not anything exact, especially in OPI's line. There were other polishes that were a little bit closer to this in other lines. I did pull out Orly Rinse and Repeat because I thought it would be close to that one. And Rinse and Repeat did have a close tone, but it was quite a bit darker. I think those are my three favorite kind of summery blues. This one now and Sure Feels Good and Take the Lead are my favorite blues, and they are all a little bit similar in tone. So I really enjoyed this one. And then we have Be the Change, and it's this really bright, at first I wanted to say it was like a marigold yellow, and it is more orange, and I feel like it even is more orange when you apply it on the nail. So it is more orange leaning than I thought, but it's not as orange leaning as some of the other OPIs that I have. And so it's kind of in between some of the marigold yellows that they have and some of the bright oranges that they have. But it's a really pretty color, and the formula is really nice on this one too. It's very shiny and glossy and a little bit curly-ish. And I think it's fun. I don't reach for colors like this, and I honestly do prefer a more orange than a yellow. Yellow's my least favorite color with most anything actually. But I do like a yellow that's a little more orange leaning quite a bit. So let's get into those comparisons. So I compared it to No Tan Lines, which is one of my favorites, and that one's actually closer than I thought. It's very close, but it definitely is a little more orange. So I think I would prefer that one over this one. That's probably my favorite of these types of colors. And then Essie Break It Sundown is more yellow, which I was kind of surprised about. And then Essie Buzzworthy, which is more yellow and has more brown in it as well. OPI Marigolden Hour and Sun, Sea, and Sand in My Pants, is that what it's called? Those are both more yellow than this one, so I didn't compare it to it, but I just wanted to mention it because I thought I'd get asked. So this one does kind of lean more orange than those, and not quite as orange as No Tan Lines, but more close to that one. So I like this one, but honestly I think I'll reach for No Tan Lines before I would reach for this one. But you yellow lovers will probably like this one. This next one is so fun, and I love the name, A Kick in the Bud. It's so fun. I love all these flower names, especially in spring, because spring just gives me life. And flowers do too, and it is gorgeous. I love the formula on this one. So the shade of this is really fun. It's like a strawberry pink that's a little bit richer, and it has a very crelly-ish formula, and it is a little red leaning too. So it's not on the coral, it's more like a strawberry red shade, which is so fun. And the formula on this is one of my favorite types of formulas, especially if it builds up really nice. It's very glossy and crelly-ish and just beautiful and squishy and lovely and perfect for summer. I can't say enough good things about this one. It totally reminded me of Essie Brides No Grooms just because of the formula. I think that one is a little bit more coral leaning, but the formula is very similar to that, and I just love that polish. It's a really old Essie when they were doing, I don't know, they were doing like wedding collections or bridal collections or something for a time years ago, and that has been one of my favorites for a long time. I don't talk about it a lot because it's really hard to find, but this one totally reminded me of that. The colors are a little bit different though, so let's take a look at that. So I compared it to Strawberry Margarita. Oh my gosh, that one is so good too, and I feel like the formulas are pretty similar. That might have a little more white in the base though, but I love it. It's a bright pink, obviously it's lighter, and then we have A Kick in the Bud, and I love those two next to each other. It totally reminds me of like the pink and red Starburst. I don't know why I thought about that, but I wrote that down because I just love them, and you can't decide which one you like better. They're both really good when you're picking out Starburst, and so I like both those colors. They're so good. I wish I could go back and add them into my pink favorites video. Anyway, and then we have OPI GPS I Love You, and that one's lighter and a touch, I can't read my handwriting. It's a little different, a touch different from something. And then Madame President is darker and more of a red pink. was really hard for me to find a pink that was more red leaning, and OPI has a lot of more coral leaning of shades like this and not a lot of pink ones. And so I mean, they probably do have one out there, not one that I have anyway, but I really love this one. This one, Strawberry Margarita. If you're looking for some good pinks, this is a good one too. And I also love, let me grab it so you can see what, because I know I'll get asked about this one. Hold on one second. Okay, so I have some bottles to show you so you can see the differences in these, because there's a few other pinks in their Nature Strong line. So this one here is Enflowered, and that one is more purple toned, and then we have Big Bloom Energy. So these were from the original release. This one's more coral, this one's more purple, and then we have these two pinks here. I'm out of breath. Strawberry Margarita, and then we have a Kick in the Bud, this new one here. So you can see all the differences here. Maybe I'll actually even do like a video shot of these so you guys can see them, because the colors are a little bit off here, but you can see the differences in those here, and I love them all. They're really, really fantastic. Another one I'm super excited about is Leaf by Example. You guys know I love a good green, and I love the coolness of this green. It actually is kind of, yeah, it's definitely more cool leaning. It's a little bit grayed out. It's a little bit soft and muted, but it's still a little bit bright and fun. The formula is really great on this one too. It's got that same buildable glossy formula. It's going to be really shiny when it dries. That's my favorite type of formula. I love a good kind of swooshy look, but still a good cream, which equals Crelly. And I like to explain that because people appreciate it, because I get asked all the time, what does Crelly or Crellyish mean? So that's what it means, and I like the mix of both of them. Let's see how it compares to some Essies and some OPIs and other brands as well, because they've been coming out with a lot of different greens like this, which makes my heart so happy. So let's look at those. So I compared this to OPI rated PG, and that one's lighter. These are all OPI. So my Studios on Spring is slightly more blue toned, and then Stay Off the Lawn is definitely the closest, but still a touch more blue than Leaf by Example. And then Essie Off Tropic is very close. I feel like Leaf by Example is a lighter version of Off Tropic, which I appreciate because I feel like it's a more summery Off Tropic, and I love to wear Off Tropic at the end of summer or as we get into fall. And then Besties, you can see here, is actually a little bit lighter and has more white in the base. And then Lose Sight of Reality, you can see compared there too. I love a good green, and so I was happy that they added this to their Nature Strong line, because I think a lot of you are going to like it too. Now we're going to talk about the three glitters. I did not do comparisons for these just because I felt like they were a little bit different than anything I have. Maybe not this first one. Here is the first one. It's called Glowing Places. Love the name. It is a more silvery gold, which I really like quite a bit, and it's just your unique kind of glittery polish. It builds up pretty nicely. I think I would probably like to do 3 coats if I did this as a full mani. I don't think it is a topper though, but it does build up pretty good. I don't know, maybe you could get away with 3 coats, but I think or maybe you could get away with 2 coats, but I feel more confident in saying 3. But I liked it. I do think this would be pretty on toes. I appreciate that it's a little more silver toned. So I think this one is really great. If you don't have a silvery leaning gold, then this is a good one to get. They have come out with a lot of different golds, and I just didn't want to compare them this time around. But this one's really fun. And then we have 2 really unique shades, which I liked quite a bit. I think they're interesting. Do I think I'll wear them? Oh, probably not, but you guys know me, I'm not a big glitter person. So Mindful of Glitter is this first one. I feel like these are better as toppers. I'm not sure if they're toppers or if they're buildable. They are fairly buildable, both of these next 2 that I'm going to talk about, but I think you're going to need like 3, possibly 4 coats to get it the way that you want it to look. So then I did it as a topper, and I was like, oh wow, that's actually really cool as a topper. And this one's really interesting. I'll show you that in a second. But this is a gold with lots of gold glitter pieces in there that are a little bit bigger, and then it has this underlying iridescent shifting shimmer in there that's kind of purpley red toned, which is really unique, and I thought it was kind of cool, and I think it'll look different depending on what color you put on top of it. I chose Cat Eye, which is from the Olive and June Quick line, and I really like that black. So I used that black as a base on this so you could see how it looked, and I do think that gives a better idea of the color and the shifting shimmer in there, so you guys can see that a little bit better. But this one's really interesting, and I think it's kind of fun, and I think a lot of you are gonna like it. Here's the other one, which is a little bit more silvery, and it's got like this purple shifting shimmer in there. And this is definitely more of a cooler toned purple. Same thing, I'm going to show you this on top of Cat Eye. I do think it looks really nice. It's just a topper, and in both of these, this is just 1 coat, so I mean it goes on really fully and opaque, especially with that shimmer under there. It just covers the nail very nicely. I don't think you'd want to do two because I think you'd kind of lose some of that interest, but you could try it and see. Anyway, I think it's really different. Let me know what you guys think about these glitters. Okay, time to pick favorites out of this collection, and these are the three that I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the pink, a kick in the bud, and then kind of a twig dill, which is a really pretty pinky nude neutral, and then the green, which is leaf by example. So those are so fun. Those are my favorites from the collection. Let me know what your favorites were from the collection. Comment down below. Let me know if you're using this Nature Strong line. I'm gonna try to make a goal to pull mine out more this summer, but there's so many great polishes that have come out. Like, I cannot get to everything all the time, and I'm reviewing a lot more. So anyway, which ones do you want to see on Instagram? Maybe I'll say that. Is there a color that you want me to show a little bit more on Instagram? And maybe that'll make me add it to my list and actually wear it as a mani. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment, and we will see you in my next video. Bye guys.